Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about makeup products that I own, that I absolutely love, and I recommend them, but I don't use them. I saw Makeup Struggles do this video and I thought it was really a cool idea. I don't think she was the one that came up with it. I believe that she talked about it in her video. So I will link it down below, but I just thought it was such a good idea because I definitely have things in my collection that I have zero desire to get rid of, but I also haven't used in a hot minute. And I basically base this off of makeup that I haven't used in about a year. So I have things in my collection that I don't use a lot, but I use them when the occasion requires it. Like if I'm going to use a glitter, I'm usually going to go for my Stila Glitter and Glow. Granted, I don't use them all the time, but I'll go for them. So these are the things that I absolutely love, but I have not used in a hot minute. Side note, before we get started, what do you guys think about these ginormous earrings? Like they're throwing me off. If Kelsey said I could wear these. She said I could, but I'm kind of wondering. Let me know down below if these are, yes, those are a hit, or if you're like, no, Mel, you look like a goober. If I look like a goober, just be nice about it, okay? I'm gonna start off in the eyes category. So the very first thing I thought about were MAC pigments and MAC glitters. Now, they have some of the best in both of those categories. So like this one is platinum, especially their metal pigments. I just think they are so good. I love this shade. And then also their glitters. This is the one Reflects Transparent Teal. Like they are so nice. But the problem is brands have now come out with things that will give you the impact, but without the hassle. So I don't really think to grab these. I think they're special. I love them so much. I have a ton of these. Like I couldn't even tell you how many MAC pigment, and I have a ton of these. I couldn't even tell you how many pigments and glitters I have. I have more pigments than glitters, but I just don't use them very often. The Butter London GLAZEN Eye Gloss. I have, I think, 3 or 4 of these, and I just picked one random shade, and this is in the shade Oil Slick. These are so easy to use. They stay on your eyes. They're impactful. Like, I love them, but I just haven't thought to use them. Look at that. It's Oil Slick. It's so pretty. See that? Oh, it's so good. And the really cool thing about these are that they have dried up on me. I had frosted, it dried up, and then I took MAC Fix Plus and just slowly were spraying in there over the course of like 3 or 4 days and kept mixing it, and it came right back to life. So they last a really long time, but I don't know. I have not reached for these in a very, I couldn't even tell you the last time I grabbed for them, but I think that they're really great. The next thing are the Melt Stacks. Now, the quality of these are so good, but they are so inconvenient to use. I absolutely love my gunmetal stack, like this shade right here. Oh, they're so good. I talked about wanting them to come out with an actual palette, not a palette to put these in, but like an actual palette, and they did, Gemini, but that's not the same quality. Like I love these shadows. They work so well. They're easy to use, not difficult. The only thing difficult about them is the actual stack in of itself. So I don't want to get rid of them because I will use them, especially one of my favorite cool tone looks that I get is with the gunmetal stack, but they end up hiding away in a drawer because it's not a palette, it doesn't fit in with my palettes, and they're a pain in the butt. So there's that. I've got one more item in the eyes category, and this was my very first like full-on bright eyeshadow palette, and it's from Urban Decay. It's the Electric palette, and this is technically like a pigments palette, but it is so good, and it's even good till this day. Like these work amazing. Like look at them. I just stained my fingers. I know. Yep. I just stained my fingers. These are so pretty and pigmented, and I actually wore the blues in this to work when I worked for MAC once, and they were like, what blues are that? That's not MAC. And I was like, yes it is. And they're like, no it's not. And I was like, yes it is. It was totally this. But I just think for a colorful palette, this was one of the best ever made. And while I might not use it very often because I don't do really bright looks on the daily, but if I wanted something that was super intense, I would totally grab for this. Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. This particular one is in the shade Moonlight. I think this is my favorite of all the ones I got. and it still hasn't gone bad. Like, crazy enough, it hasn't. I've seen a lot of people say that that theirs have, but look at that. That is so intense, and it goes on pretty intense. The problem with this is almost how intense it is. But for me, like, majority of the time when I'm trying to do my makeup, I'm trying to also run out the door, and I just go for an easy powder highlight, because it seems that now powder highlights have come along in formula, and they've gotten really smooth, really high shine without the necessary mess. NATASHA DENONA Diamond and Blush Highlighting and Blush Palette. This is in the shade number 2, Citrus. I love this. I think it's so pretty, and for some glittery shades, like, they actually look good on the skin. There's not many glittery highlights that I like, but this is one of them that I think just looks beautiful, especially when you pair them with the creams. They're stunning. The biggest issue I have with this is that it's a palette. It's so big, and so it doesn't go in with my blushes. It doesn't go in with my highlighters. It's in a whole separate drawer, so I don't even think to grab it. And then I have too many options. Like, I don't know what to do, because I'm like, I'm gonna go straight for this yellow, then I'm like, no, and it just goes back and forth. And then on top of that, she just released these Super Glow highlighters, and I want to talk about this for a second, because I had several people asking me if this was comparable to these, and I believe that she said it was the same formula. I'm not sure, but I'm just going based off of, like, I'm gonna dig in here. This one's straight up like glitter, but if I dig into this one, I go onto my hand, like, you see that? Now, I'm gonna take shade number 2, because the number 1 is lighter. It's obviously gonna be brighter. So this is the number 2 light medium. I feel like the texture of this one is a little bit softer, and look at that. Like, it's brighter too. So let me show you. Like, they're night and day to me, and this one has a little bit more glitter. Like, it's not glittery, but it has a tiny, tiny, tiny little glitters in there. And this one is just smoother. It's brighter. Let me go ahead and build up this other one. Now, if you can see this one, it does create a little bit of hard pan, because I feel like it's pressed in there differently than the palette, like the little compact. I can't talk. So I'm just gonna build this one up a little bit, and it's still not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. These are so much more convenient than the big old palette. I think I would use it more if these came in duos. So this and a highlighter, this one and a highlighter, the blush, a cream blush and the regular blush, instead of a big one, because I just don't grab for it, but I love it. Next up, I have the FILMSTAR Bronze and Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. It's in the shade Fair Medium. I love this product, and I love the case. Like, that is so, like, old Hollywood beautiful. It's so pretty. This is so nice. I use it a lot on clients, especially if you're more fair. Like, this is really such a good color to give some structure to the face without it being intense. And then this is a really beautiful smooth highlight. I used to use this quite a lot on myself, and then all of a sudden it's like I just forgot about it. I can't wear this shade now. It's a little too light. I love the product, but I don't grab for it. And I feel like it's been a hot minute since I have reached for it. And then lastly, but certainly not least, are the Shape and Sculpt powders from MAC. I only carry these powders in my kit because I just think they work so well. They're underrated. The tones of them are like perfect, spot on. They blend out nicely, and they're pretty affordable. I believe that each of these are $17 a piece, and then a lot of people have pro discounts. But I used to use the crap out of Sculpt and Accentuate. This one is Emphasize. I liked that underneath my eyes, but I used to use this as a highlighter. Because I used to have texture on my skin, so I liked something that would lift but not add texture, and that one definitely did it. And these are just so nice, but I don't really use anything to sculpt out my face anymore. I more am about the bronzer, and then obviously I like a really blingy highlight. So I don't use this on myself. I definitely use it in my kit. I love them. I think that they're underrated, but I just don't grab for them myself anymore. I just said last but not least, but I forgot one other thing. It was in my lap. This is from Hourglass. It's the Ambient Lighting Powder in Luminous Light. So just like Accentuate from MAC, I used to use this as a highlighter because I had texture and it was just really soft, smooth, and just beautiful. I suggest this to people all the time now for buffing. So if you want a pressed powder that's luminous but it's not going to accentuate anything, these are amazing. I used to use diffused light all the time to set underneath my eyes, but it's been a little while since I've used diffused light, but I haven't grabbed for this one in a long time. All right, you guys, that is it. Let me know down below, what do you have in your collection that you're absolutely not going to get rid of, but that you don't use? I'm very curious to hear, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.